Good morning. Come on, you guys can do better than that. We're in San Francisco. Good morning. And look at this incredible space we're in. Just give it hands for Seamus, everyone, who brought this great space back to life. First off, I really want to thank all of the elected officials and department heads and community who are joining us. For me, with these turbulent times ahead, I tend to reflect. As someone who's worked on Market Street for over 15 years, heads an organization that has owned property at 6th and Market since 1990, and for the past 4 years has officed across the street on Jones, I know firsthand how much Mid-Market has changed. As the leader of Community Housing Partnership, I have seen how Mayor Ed Lee has committed himself personally to transforming Mid-Market. We have development booming, locally serving small businesses dotting our streets, and the Tenderloin has benefited too, with more investment on Taylor and the Leavenworth corridor. Our residents at 6th and Market feel safer, enjoy their thriving neighborhood, and are proud to be part of the diverse fabric of Mid-Market. But we are not done. And by no means have we passed the finish line. We still have a lot of hard work to do to continue this transformation of Market Street into the boulevard that CHP residents know it can be, to benefit the long-standing community, the new technology sector, and all of San Francisco. Mayor Ed Lee will tackle his citywide priorities: homelessness, affordable housing, police reform, neighborhood stabilization, and defending our San Francisco values with the same determination, tenacity, and vision as he did Mid-Market. You know, he always likes a challenge. He will protect our immigrants. He will ensure our healthcare continues, and he will keep our city's vibrancy alive. We have a long way to go until we live up to our highest ideals for our city in terms of how we work to end homelessness, create more affordable housing, and making San Francisco a city we all can be proud of, whether you're a third generation, a middle-income family wanting to stay in the city, or a newly arriving immigrant. I, like all of you, am looking forward to being part of that powerful team that will work together and collectively to create a more equitable San Francisco and to defend our values against all of those who do not support them or believe in them. It is now my honor to introduce Mayor Edwin Lee.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Board President London Breed, our supervisors. Thank you for being here. All of our elected officials, our city staff, our fellow San Franciscans. You know, now more than ever, I'm grateful to be a San Franciscan in a city where we honor and love one another and stand up for each other. Every year we gather to reflect on the accomplishments of the year past and to set ambitious goals for the year ahead. But this year is different because our city's success stands against a backdrop of a vastly different America. The election last year and the fallout that continues has shaken our understanding of our country. Well, I'm here with you today to say I am confident then San Francisco will lead the way for the entire nation. Since November 8th, our city's compassion, our heart has been tested. People say that we live in our own world here in California and San Francisco. Well, this, I have to say, is just an alternative fact. Let me tell you about our America, our city. In our America, people are equal, no matter race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. In our America, we embrace our differences and understand that they make us stronger and more vibrant. We are a sanctuary city, now, tomorrow, forever. Thank you. And we refuse to accept the status quo as the best that we can do. We don't wish for affordable housing, we build it. We don't complain about health access, we provide it. And we don't talk about protecting immigrants, we stand shoulder to shoulder with them. You know, the late historian and San Francisco native Kevin Starr said that our state is a prism through which America sees its future. The Republicans talk about American carnage. Well, I say, come see San Francisco and come experience our celebration of diversity and our economic success. Come see what the future of America looks like. Now, it is time to fight back, to guarantee that the progress we've gained in previous decades is not erased, to protect hard-fought victories for civil rights, women's rights, disabled rights, gay rights, and the equality that our predecessors battled and bled for, and to continue the progress on the challenges we face in our city: homelessness, housing, quality of life, and police reform. Look how far we've come already. When I took office, unemployment was near 10%. Our budget deficit reached well over $500 million. Our pension and healthcare costs were unsustainable. Fast forward to today, more than 140,000 people are working compared to 2010. And unemployment, we just learned this week, has dropped to 2.95%. And Market Street, where we are today, had the highest vacancy rates in the city, and housing sites sat undeveloped. Today, we stand in the beautiful Hibernia Bank building celebrating a resurgence of San Francisco's Grand Boulevard. Dozens of new businesses, arts organizations, and large employers have brought new life to Market Street and the Tenderloin. And in this area, more than 2,000 units of housing have been built in the past few years, with more than 20% affordable. And every day, we make progress towards a safer and a more vibrant Market Street. We certainly have not crossed the finish line, but look how far we have come. And when I took office, San Francisco was experiencing a housing crisis. Longtime San Franciscans were struggling to afford homes due to the failure to build housing through the 90s and 2000s, and a surge in economic growth that put upward pressure on housing prices. So we went to work, reinvesting in affordable housing at all levels, from public housing to low-income and middle-class housing. We acted fast. In 2012, we secured a $1.3 billion housing trust fund, and in 2015, a $310 million affordable housing bond to build the housing our residents need. We pledged to create 30,000 new and rehabilitated housing units, half of which would be affordable to low-income and middle-class families. And we announced an unprecedented new program to completely rehabilitate our public housing stock. Well, today, I'm proud to say we're on track, and 13,813 units closer to meeting our goal of 30,000. These new units will save so many families from displacement. And of this new housing, 42% is affordable to low-income and middle-class San Franciscans. I'm especially proud that in October, we began the second phase of 2 phases to rebuild and rehabilitate public housing. And as a child who grew up in public housing, this is personal to me. 11,000 low-income people will now live in new and refurbished homes after decades of living in neglected poverty housing. And when the federal government failed us, I chose not to make excuses. We called together decision makers both locally and in the Obama administration to find an innovative solution. And today, thousands of our city's most low-income families have beautiful new homes where they can deepen their roots and their children can blossom. We are now a national model for how other cities can improve public housing. And years ago, this was just a dream. Today, it's a total transformation. And to supervisors, Malia Cohn and President Breed, and every person in the department who worked hand in hand on this effort, I say thank you. This is a true testament to what we can accomplish when we unite around the values and push toward a common goal. We need to make these moments possible for more and more residents. People across the city are struggling to afford rent. Homeownership feels completely unattainable. Well, together, we have a responsibility to take care of every working family struggling to keep their heads above water and a foothold in our city. Because a strong middle class is a strong city. Well, some of the most impactful ideas to build middle-class housing have been met with strong opposition in years past, and I hear the concerns, and I commit to working through them because we have no other option. We must work harder to find common ground and focus on programs that we know will make the biggest differences for our families. And together, we can incentivize the construction of new homes dedicated to middle-class families and create certainty within the process of building new housing. We already have some programs that work well. Our small sites program, for example, where the city purchases and permanently preserves rent-controlled units, has kept struggling families in the city. Well, Renee Yanez, the artist who lives in the Mission, was facing LSAC eviction, and because of the small sites program, He no longer worries. Thank you, Renee, for being here. I'm excited to announce that we'll grow this program, and in the next 3 years, we'll give 240 more households like Renee's a chance to remain in San Francisco. And to help middle-class families buy homes, we'll expand the down payment assistance loan program. You know, Bridget Early and her family were able to buy a home in the Sunset when the down payment roadblock was removed for them. Renee, thank you for being here today. Bridget, sorry. We are building another 20,000 units along the bayfront, the southern bayfront, a third of which will be affordable, including as much middle-class housing as possible. Well, all of this production is having an impact, and we're starting to see rents stabilize, even as they continue to surge elsewhere in California. The evidence is in. Building more housing does help more people afford San Francisco. And as we accelerate the building of more housing for our nurses, teachers, first responders, we cannot lose sight of our responsibility to care for our most vulnerable population, our homeless. Until last summer, our city did not have a streamlined approach to homelessness. Different city departments each owned a part of the solution, and despite their best effort, the current system was not working. Well, now, 5 months later, the Department of Homelessness and Supportive Housing has helped thousands find safer, healthier lives. And since I took office, my administration has helped 9,789 people out of homelessness. Tonight, we will be conducting our biannual homeless count when we are reminded that even as we resolve homelessness for thousands, there's a need to serve thousands more. We will not solve homelessness with a cookie-cutter approach like the programs of the past. Our new end-to-end navigation system, built on the concept of navigation centers that I initiated in 2014, provides the individual support and resources to help the person off the streets and into a situation best suited for their needs. A shelter, a navigation center, housing, or back to a home with loved ones. Well, we know that very few solutions are one size fits all. To successfully intervene, we need to understand the root cause of an individual's homelessness, whether it be economic, behavioral, medical. The navigation system allows the flexibility to do that by working with each individual to meet where they are. Then we can connect them directly to services to treat the root causes of their homelessness. Next month, we'll open the third navigation center thanks to the Dog Patch community and Supervisor Cohen, who have welcomed this with compassion and empathy. I'm pleased many districts and supervisors are stepping up to welcome homeless service sites in areas all across the city. We know the navigation center model is working, and in the past 2 years, it has helped more than 1,100 people off the streets, just like Terry Quinn, who is here with us today. Thank you for being here, Terry. To help thousands more people just like Terry, today I'm pleased to announce the 4th and 5th navigation centers, Hummingbird Place and the South of Market Navigation Center. The fourth center, the Hummingbird Place, will be on the campus of Zuckerberg San Francisco General Hospital, and it will exclusively serve people with mental health and addiction challenges. The fifth, yes. And the fifth center, the Soma Navigation Center, will be a triage resource and pathway off the streets for long-term people, homeless, and people living in encampments. Thank you, Google, for your generous support for this. You know, expanding navigation centers is not our only step. We are also creating complementary new pathways to move 320 formerly homeless people into stable housing through a partnership with the Housing Authority. Placements begin next month, and by moving people up the housing ladder, we create space in permanent supportive housing. We also have a population of people who time and time again have cycled through our system, picked up by the police, taken to the emergency room, held for a few days, and released right back on our street. These patients average nearly 4 visits per year to the psych emergency ward. Well, this is not solving the issue, ladies and gentlemen, because it does not address the root causes. And it's our moral responsibility to do better, and we will do better. People like Tahani, who's here today, and her family, who struggled with their mentally ill brother for years, worried about him day and night. Well, through Laura's Law program, Tahani's brother is now getting the help he needs to stay safe and recover. And in this case, the program literally saved a life. Thank you, Tahani, for being here. Tahani's story proves Laura's Law works. So I say thank you, Supervisor Mark Farrell and the board, for adopting it. We have now more than 100 families that we've helped since it began. Well, now let us help hundreds of more people like Tahani's brother. We must improve our conservatorship program. It's time to put the people first, to treat underlying mental health challenges. The cycling has to stop. And I commit to putting the resources forward to provide people the intensive care they need, and I hope the courts will match our commitment. This can happen with our justice partners, our health department, and all the courts all working together on behalf of the patient. We know these collaborative courts work, such as the behavioral health court and the drug courts, which have been so successful. And we have to apply the same ingenuity and compassion to conservatorships with a 360-degree health assessment, better coordinating our health and legal systems. You know, decisions about treatment should include an individual's complete medical record, and we want people on the most successful and least restrictive path to recovery. I will forward a proposal to the courts to implement this partnership, and I anticipate spirited discussion in the weeks to come. And as we improve our compassionate assistance for the mentally ill and then drug dependent, we must also look at the impact this is having on our neighborhoods. We'll meet this problem at its source on the streets of our city. And to start, we'll double our medical respite capacity this year. More beds means more very sick people finding refuge from the street corner with direct access to the support they need. Our goal must be to help people to reduce their use of dangerous and debilitating drugs. Our street medicine teams are dispensing special medication that reduces the cravings intravenous drug users experience and, in turn, reduces their usage. And as I said earlier this month, I will continue to learn about the effectiveness of safe injection services. We must thoroughly assess whether the public health and safety benefits outweigh any negative impacts. Well, we are now dealing with a public health hazard regarding the disposal of needles, and we're stepping up our efforts to get the syringes off our streets. The Department of Public Health and Public Works will install new needle boxes in hotspots all around the city. And we've seen success at our 17 pit stops. These boxes work. Drug users do, in fact, deposit needles. We're also increasing the number of trained cleanup workers to pick up needles that litter our streets and neighborhoods. You know, our neighborhoods are, in fact, the greatest source of pride in San Francisco. We want the simple quality of life issues fixed, and fixed quickly. From the street light that is out, to the crosswalk that needs repainting, to the tree that needs trimming, we respond to these requests through our new mayor's Fix-It teams. And meeting with neighbors and understanding needs that are unique to that neighborhood, we're working together, fixing problems proactively and making our neighborhood's corridors cleaner, safer, better places to live. Residents such as Castro neighbor Carolyn Thomas, who's here today, partner with the Fix-It teams to improve their neighborhoods. Thank you, Carolyn. Well, the response has been amazing from our neighbors and small businesses, so we'll quadruple our efforts and fixing 20 additional neighborhoods in 2017. A big thank you to Mohammed Nuru and Sandra Zuniga and all the city partners who work every day to fix our neighborhoods. However, you know, our Fix-It work is just one part of keeping our neighbors and our neighborhoods safe and clean. A strong crime prevention plan and increased community policing are also keys to having neighborhoods we can call home. I want to thank our newest supervisor, Jeff Sheehy, who's already begun to work on a neighborhood crime prevention plan, which will complement the Fix-It and homeless outreach efforts and the continued work of our dedicated police department. Thank you, Jeff. You know, last year certainly challenged our city to be honest with ourselves about community policing relations. We always hoped that we would be different, and I believe we are. We recognized that reforms were needed, and we invited the United States Department of Justice to complete a top-to-bottom review of our police department. Safety and reform happens because of thousands of men and women in uniform in San Francisco. Well, to all our sworn law enforcement, we appreciate you. I appreciate you. You put yourself in danger every day in the name of protecting our city. You are heroes, and I thank you. And to Chief Bill Scott, who just days ago took his oath of office, welcome. I know you'll make the San Francisco Police Department, and you'll make it into the model 21st century police department. We are completely committed to implementing all 272 of the reforms that were recommended by the United States Department of Justice. We are well underway as new use of force trainings begin next week. But, reforms are more than just about new rules and tactics. It is having officers deeply committed to the neighborhoods that they serve, cops that know the heartbeat of diverse communities they protect. We've just hired 600 new officers and pushed to have the faces of our diverse communities represented. And in the last 3 police academy classes, 56% of the new recruits are people of color. These recruits and officers come from the communities they serve, and they strive every day to earn the trust and to protect the safety of those very communities. Like officers Rodney and Ronnie Freeman, who grew up in the Sunnydale and are here with us today. Please stand, officers. This is the future of our police force. And the future is keeping the public safe in a manner that respects civil rights and the rights of all people, placing the sanctity of life above all else, and always thinking de-escalation before force. Well, it is also time that we move forward with full implementation of body cameras. It is time to adopt a policy for electronic control devices to give officers an option between a baton and a gun. Chief, I know you and I have discussed this a lot, and it will not be easy, but our responsibility is to achieve simultaneously reform as well as keep our city safe. And I know you're up for the job, and the city family welcomes you. Well, these, ladies and gentlemen, are challenges ahead, but we are in a strong position to stand up for ourselves, stand up for our neighbors, to stand up for our values. For the immigrant laborer trying to support a family, the union janitor fighting to afford San Francisco rent, the mentally ill who need a support system that works for them, the HIV survivor who depends on health care. This is who we are fighting for. And I know we may not see eye to eye on every issue, and we must continue to have fierce debates and a battle of ideas. Constructive disagreement and the consensus that we reach is what makes us so strong. But we also have to need to ask ourselves if division at home makes us more vulnerable to attacks from the outside. We need to consider whether the local fights we pick are for power or for policy. And are we making budget decisions impulsively or strategically in preparation for what could be very long 4 years? Because in the end, we all believe in the right to health care, the right to housing, the right to live your life free of oppression or bigotry. We will face challenges from those who do not share our views, challenges the likes of which none of us have witnessed in the last 8 years. These challenges will test us. And in order for us to meet these challenges, we must be united. When looking back on the year that's just passed, we acknowledge the progress that has been made by working together instead of against each other. So I stand before you asking for all of you to stand with me together so that we can move our city forward and continue to be the shining light for our country, our America. Because if and when the federal cuts come, we will be united behind our promises and our values. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready. The state of our city is ready. We're ready to finish implementing solutions on housing, homelessness, and police reform. We're ready to defend ourselves against cynical attacks from Washington, D.C. We're ready to stand up for what we believe in, and we're ready to fight for those who need us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are San Francisco. We're ready for what's to come. I say thank you to all of you. Let's get ready.